What's up, YouTube? So I've been digging through my closet and found a bunch of old gear. I found a few things that are pretty beat up, but I'm just not ready to let them go. So today I'm going to see if I can bring them back to life. All right, let's see what we could do. Before I begin, let me say, I made a few mistakes while dyeing these canvas sneakers, but I still wanted to put the video out in the hope that others can learn from my mistakes. Now that that's out of the way, let's begin. For starters, I found this old pair of all-white Vans from years back. As you can see, the mid and outer sole is still in good shape, but this canvas is pretty cooked and there's not much of a chance to bring these back to a vibrant white. I also found this old Polo Sweatshirt from 14 years ago. I used to love this sweatshirt and I wore it all the time, but with any white sweatshirt, it starts to get stained and dingy no matter how much you try to take care of it. So after 10 years, it's pretty stained and it's got dingy rings all around the cuffs and collar.
Ring around the collar, ring around the collar.
Those dirty rings.
Those dirty rings.
I was about to toss it, but when I tried it on, it reminded me why I like it so much. It still fits great, feels high quality, and it's still very comfortable. So my challenge today is to see if I could bring this sweatshirt and my old Vans back to a point where they feel somewhat new again. In the past, I've dyed suede and leather sneakers with great results, but I've never tried it on clothing or canvas materials, so this was a new learning experience for me. After a bit of quick research online, I found RIT clothing dye for only $2.78 a bottle. It seems pretty legit, and after ordering it online, I realized they sell it at my local supermarket, so that's good to know if I ever need more. Being that these clothes are stained pretty badly, I knew I had to go with a darker color, so I chose this dark green in the hope that it will mask any stains I can't remove. I read the instructions on the bottle and watched a few videos online to prepare me for this project. The first thing I did was wash both items. I put the kicks in my little Rejuvenator cleaning bag and tossed all items in the wash with a laundry pod. Once everything was clean but still wet, I started my prep work. First, I taped up the midsole and outsole so that it wouldn't absorb the dye when I dunk it in the water. This was my first rookie mistake. I usually use masking tape or electric tape when painting kicks, but for some stupid reason, I chose duct tape for this experiment. My logic, since I would be literally boiling the kicks, I thought duct tape would handle the conditions better and prevent the dye from touching the rubber midsole. What I failed to do was give any thought to the residue that duct tape leaves behind. Note to everyone on the internet, never use duct tape for any sneaker projects. Seriously, never. You will regret it.
Hov did that. So hopefully none of y'all have to go through that.
Once everything was taped up, I boiled 2 big pots of water and added 1 cup of salt for the sweatshirt pot. This is recommended for cotton blends. On a side note, RIT has suggested additives and processes for different materials and dyes. You can find all the info you need on their site, ritdye.com. To be clear, they are not a sponsor of this channel, and there's plenty of fabric dyes on the market to choose from. I just happened to find this brand, and it appears to have pretty good customer reviews, so that's what I went with. Next, I added my dye. The bottle recommends adding 4 ounces of dye for every pound of fabric, which is approximately 2 t-shirts. To keep things simple, I added 4 ounces for each pot to see what happens. Once everything was in, I lowered the flame and mixed everything together, making sure all of the materials were properly saturated. RIT recommends stirring everything for approximately 30 to 60 minutes. Damn! Please note, results may vary depending on the material, amount of dye, amount of water, temperature, and amount of time you soak your items. I recommend researching the dye you use based on the materials of your item.
1 hour later.
Okay, I actually did 60 minutes of stirring. You can see everything is looking pretty green. The white stitching on the kicks and sweatshirt appear to be synthetic and they are not absorbing the dye. That's fine with me because at least they match. The laces also did not take to the dye, but instead they came out in this off-white sail color that actually looks kind of cool, so I'll keep them. Once complete, I pulled everything out and rinsed it with cold water until the rinse water started looking clear. Then I washed it again by hand using warm water and a small amount of laundry detergent. After that, I soaked and rinsed the items until all excess dye and detergent was washed out. Next, I put my items in a safe place to dry. Keep in mind, the clothes will always appear darker when wet, and as they dry, they start to look more faded. That was expected, and it is what it is. The sneakers, as you can see, came out much darker. In hindsight, I would have added 6 ounces of dye for the sweatshirt and only 2 ounces for the sneakers, but live and learn. Okay, so remember when I told you about using duct tape? Here's where it gets really sucky. For starters, the duct tape did little to protect my soles from the dye. In addition, they added tape residue all over the mid and outer sole, and that stuff is really hard to take off. My first focus was removing the dye and hoping that the residue would go with it. That's kind of what happened, but it made the job twice as hard, and this could have easily been avoided had I thought it through. Using nail polish remover and a bunch of cotton balls, it started to clean up. I literally worked on this for hours, and it still wasn't perfect. Lots of leftover dye and residue was still in the small crevices of the rubber, and it was very frustrating. That said, they are now presentable, and I could wear these out if I wanted to. The final touch I added was a little white paint on the shoelace aglets to cover that little bit of green dye. And there you have it, my new old gear in matching green, and it cost me under $3. I don't see myself wearing these to any formal parties, but I would definitely pull these out in the spring or summer for a day at the beach or camping, basically anywhere I don't want to risk messing up my good stuff. Mix it with a pair of shorts and a fresh white tee, and I think it would be passable. Also, I'm happy to report the stains are now hidden, and I no longer see rings around the cuffs and collar.
Those dirty rings.
So would I do this again? For a piece of clothing, I say absolutely yes. It was easy and kind of fun, but regarding the sneakers, I don't think I'll be trying that again anytime in the near future. It was a lot of work, and I think the boiling water melted some of the factory glue on the sneakers. I'll let y'all know if the sole falls off while I'm wearing these out one day. Anyway, that's my video. I hope you found this helpful or somewhat entertaining, but most of all, I hope this inspired you to dig into the back of your closet to uncover some lost gems you could bring back to life. You could have some new gear and something truly unique for only a few dollars and a little bit of time. With the exception of the duct tape fail, this experience for me was not only affordable and easy, but it was kind of fun, and I'm glad I was able to give new life into some of my old forgotten stuff. Feel free to subscribe for more sneaker reviews and stuff like this. If you want to stay up to date with my latest videos, you can always ring that bell. Also, for other random pics and info, you can always check me out on Instagram at E21Life. Thank you all for watching. I truly appreciate it, and stay safe, everyone. Peace.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.